Thank you, Governor. It is such an honor to be here in the Governor's office with this amazing working group and this team. For 4 years, they have been rolling up their sleeves, working hard, listening to victims and survivors, and we have been really talking through some important issues to make sure that we are improving the services in our state so victims are believed, taken seriously, and that way we can create systems where people come toward them more readily and that we can actually seek the justice they deserve. So I really want to recognize some important partners. There are a lot of people here, but the Idaho State Police and the Forensic Services program has been amazing and developed the first of its kind tracking mechanism in 2016, well it was really 2017, based on the first piece of legislation we ever worked on together. And that is being replicated around the country now. So this team has been amazing. I also want to publicly recognize Chief Kingsbury in Twin Falls. He has been diligent in this area and really a leader for all the police, and has invited me to many association meetings to talk to folks, and that's daring. That man has broad shoulders.
We don't have to do that.
Oh my heavens. I also want to recognize the Sheriff's Association and all the great victims advocacy and services folks, from the Women's and Children's Alliance to the Idaho Coalition Against Sexual and Domestic Violence. And I do want to recognize somebody who's a little shy, but Mr. Tab Roper contacted me 2 weeks after this legislation was through the House. And he said, I want to come meet with you. And his daughter was assaulted in 2000, and the report didn't go well. And there were some problems with getting sexual assault kits processed. And Debbie Field and Margaret Hembest worked with him, and they passed 3 major pieces of legislation in 2001 to get us started on this journey. And I was so touched and moved by his story in the Senate, as well as Chief Kingsbury, when he said, you know what, you're right, we haven't always done things right, but we're committed now to making sure it goes right, and we are listening, and we are making a difference. So I just want to thank you for the strength and courage that took, and that we're going to continue to work together. You've joined our Idaho State Sexual Assault Kit Initiative Group as a public member.
It's the work you're doing.
And we're just honored to have you with us. So with that, Mr. Governor.
Thank you. This is like a lot of things we do around here when we do them right. It's kind of a continuous improvement process. This code section that changes, you'll see in it. You know, it started off with a good section of code, and then you find out what doesn't work, and you make it better, and that's what this is. And you know, the fact, I always love to hear that Idaho leads the nation. I don't hear that as often as I'd like to, but it is important to me, because I think everybody knows that my big deal, every decision that comes across the desk in this office, is that we create the best possible opportunity for our kids to stay in Idaho. And one of the biggest things is they got to know they're safe. Everybody has to know they're safe. And this is part of that. And another part of what's really important to me is that people have confidence in government. And if you go through one of these instances to where you don't think you've been treated fairly, you don't have that confidence. This legislation, this one right here, does both those things. It keeps the people of Idaho safe, and it creates confidence in government. And in this time, in this country, that's something that is very important, and that's a real hurdle that all the bills that come through here, we want to make sure, and this bill, because of the partners are all up here, it does both those things. It keeps everyone in Idaho safe, and it builds confidence in government, and so it was a real privilege to sign the bill. So congratulations.
Thank you.